Sophisticated software. Advanced hardware. Always ready.
Hi, and welcome to this issue of Defence Watch. First up, we follow Cayenne and Mano as they dive deep into the South China Sea to find out how submarine escape and rescue operations are carried out.
When Cayenne and I heard about the distressed submarine, we headed straight to Tuas Naval Base to catch a ride to the South China Sea to witness the rescue efforts of its crew firsthand.
We're right now on the Navy's RSS Independence, a patrol vessel, and we're about to slip off in about 30 minutes time for a 14-hour trip up to the South China Sea.
Submarine rescue is a very delicate operation that's carried out by a highly specialized team. Well, we can't wait to meet this team, but for now, there's a lot of sea to cover.
We're now approaching Swift Rescue, a submarine support vessel.
This vessel behind us has a wide range of capabilities to carry out escape and rescue operations. The Singapore Navy launched Swift Rescue some 2 years ago and is the first fully integrated vessel of its kind in Southeast Asia. The rescue operation we were going to witness is an exercise, but it's an important one in ensuring that the rescue team is ready to move at the push of a button.
Having this capability in the RSN is a very important for our peace of mind. We cannot have it activated at the last minute, and when we need it, we really need it to be operational.
Once on board, Cayenne and I went our separate ways. While Cayenne checked out the vessel's recompression chambers, I was intrigued by this, a spaceport-looking module that seemed to have spilled out from a science fiction movie. This is the Deep Search and Rescue Vessel, or TSAR-6. This cool craft can rescue up to 17 submariners and sustain some 15 hours of continuous underwater operations. And I was going to be part of the rescue team to get to RSS Chieftain, lying some 70 meters on the seabed. That's like the height of the 76-story Swiss Hotel. With the tunnel's small diameter, it was a tight squeeze getting into the rescue sub.
If you have fear of confined spaces, it's not for you. Are you? No, I'm not. Okay. Moving up! Map running! In the water, check seals on hatches. How deep can this thing go? 500 meters. 500 meters. And how deep are we now, roughly? Now we are about 30 meters. 30 meters, yeah.
At about 65 meters below sea level, the first glimpse of RSS Chieftain blew me away. We were now hovering just 5 meters from the distressed submarine.
We'll lock on top of the submarine escape hatch, and when we start transferring people, we'll start pumping the water in the seats out, and that makes up weight of water for weight of people. So when we lift off, we remain neutral and we can fly off and bring them back to the surface safely. United.
Chieftain, this is Delta 6.
Logs coming off. Okay, carry on. Carry on. Carry on.
As the rescue hatch opens, a Chieftain crew is relieved to see us.
Here we go. Okay. Yeah. See you. Thanks again. See you. Take care.
Did you tell them shut hatches and drains?
It's actually a very dangerous operation.
but doing it so successfully and without any complications at all is a great reassurance for us.
With the hatch closed and prepared for ascent, I caught a last glimpse of Chieftain, and I couldn't help but be mystified by the majestic submarine.
The battle for lives is taking place, but not in a hospital or even a clinic. Out in the open sea, the Singapore Navy saves lives in something different. A silver chamber in an orange ship.
This silver metal-like thing is known as a recompression chamber. At any one time, it can treat up to 40 casualties.
And this orange ship is a submarine support vessel, the MV Swift Rescue. 2 hours ago, Mano set off from Swift Rescue in Deep Search and Rescue 6, this mini submarine you see here. He was on an exercise mission to rescue submariners trapped in RSS Chieftain. That was part 1, and this is part 2. He's back with the rescued submariners, and this is what happens next.
When the rescuees in the DSA-6 are brought onto deck on Swift Rescue, the DSA-6 will mate with the deck transfer lock, and the pressure between the DSA-6 and the deck transfer lock will be equalized.
Matching pressure is important. Submarines go deep underwater, where pressure is much higher than the surface. A sudden change in pressure can be a death sentence for the human body.
Due to built-up nitrogen stores in the body, when the body is at a higher pressure under saturation. And these nitrogen bubbles, when there is a sudden loss of pressure, the volume of the bubbles increases, and these bubbles get trapped in the bloodstream, in the joints, in the brain, in the spinal cord, and other parts of the body, resulting in problems such as joint pain, numbness, weakness, stroke-like symptoms, and even unconsciousness and death.
To avoid this, rescuees must be transferred under the same pressure. And it's done in this maze-like structure. The rescuees ultimately end up in these chambers for treatment.
In the recompression chambers, we put them through a treatment table or recompression table, and this will enable us to deliver the required amount of time of oxygen and bring them up slowly back up to atmospheric pressure at a rate that allows all the nitrogen gas to be offloaded safely.
The last step, transferal into the recovery rooms, such as this high dependency ward, the equivalent of hospital ICUs. All these can be found in this floating orange hospital for submariners. And now, while the submarine hospital hone their processes out in the South China Sea, it's another 13-hour journey back home for us. Now let's have a quick look at some of the events that happened recently. To better prepare our soldiers to meet evolving operational demands, the SAF has strengthened its combat fitness training system with the introduction of vocation-related exercises, as well as a redesign of its Standard Obstacle Course or SOC. Vocation-related exercises are a set of exercises customized to the different vocations in the SAF. They strengthen specific muscle groups that a serviceman uses to carry out combat tasks in his vocation. 6 obstacles within the old SOC have been replaced with 7 redesigned ones. The new SOC better emulates the operating environment and develops soldiers' strength and endurance for basic combat tasks. Soldiers in basic military training, Specialist Cadet Course, and Officer Cadet Course will continue the current progressive training and individual qualification through the redesigned SOC. Soldiers in the units will also embark on a new team-based vocation obstacle course, where they will have to clear the redesigned combat obstacles as a section or a detachment and perform vocation-specific combat tasks along the way. The team-based vocation obstacle course differs for each vocation based on their combat load, actions taken by the team, and total distance covered. These differences are catered to meet specific vocational requirements.
Let's go, last 300 meters. Come on. Let's go.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Teo Chee Hean visited the SAF Task Group deployed in the Gulf of Aden for international counter-piracy operations at sea. During the visit on board the Republic of Singapore Navy's landing ship tank, RSS Endurance, Mr. Teo was briefed on the Task Group's operations and observed a drill by the Task Group when activated to respond to a pirate attack on a merchant vessel. The 221-strong SAF Task Group, consisting of personnel from the Army, Navy and Air Force, was deployed in June this year and operates under the ambit of Combined Task Force 151, a multinational task force established in 2009 to conduct counter-piracy operations in the Gulf of Aden. Following his visit to the SAF Task Group, Mr. Teo visited the Sultanate of Oman, where he conveyed Singapore's appreciation for the Omani government's support in facilitating the SAF Task Group's call at Omani ports during their deployment for international counter-piracy operations in the Gulf of Aden. Mr. Rudiger Wolf, the German State Secretary for Defence, called on Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Teo Chee Hean at MINDEF. State Secretary Wolf's visit underscores the good defence relationship between Singapore and Germany. Both countries interact regularly through high-level defence visits, military courses and professional exchanges, as well as defence technology cooperation. As part of his farewell visit in Singapore, General Djoko Santoso, Commander-in-Chief of the Indonesian National Defence Forces, called on Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Teo Chee Hean at MINDEF. This visit by General Santoso underscores the close defence ties between Singapore and Indonesia. Under his leadership, professional interactions between the SAF and the Indonesian National Defence Forces have grown in scope and complexity. Chief of Naval Staff of the Indonesian Navy, Admiral Agus Suhartono, was conferred the Meritorious Service Medal Military by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Teo Chee Hean. The medal was awarded to Admiral Suhartono in recognition of his significant contributions towards forging closer ties between the Republic of Singapore Navy and the Indonesian Navy. For our next story, Mano comes face to face with one of the world's most formidable flying machines and the people who fly them.
She may look like a typical girl next door, but 26-year-old Joyce packs good looks with a deadly punch. You see, Joyce operates one of the world's most formidable flying machine.
And this aircraft is just like a Lamborghini in the air. It gives this warm, fuzzy feelings, and it also has this intimidating factors with it because of its very extensive arrays of weapons systems.
This is the AH-64D Apache Longbow Helicopter.
This is an attack helicopter. Looks sexy, looks scary. They have a 30mm gun. They have 16 Hellfire missiles which they can carry. They have rockets, 19 rockets on each rocket launchers. So they are actually a very deadly aircraft.
The Apache's radar, guided missiles and data link between the helicopters mean it can outsee, outmaneuver and outshoot enemy tanks. With the Apache, you don't need a tank to fight a tank anymore.
The Apache's chief function is to take out high-value ground targets. And to do it from a helicopter, you need an extremely sophisticated targeting system.
Okay, this is actually called TADS, which is the Target Acquisition Designation System. Basically, this This test itself will have the ability to actually zoom into the target a few times. So this thing can zoom in and then visually acquire the target and then make sure that the target is the correct one before they put weapons on the target itself.
So basically what you see is what you get.
Yes,
yeah?
That's exactly the point.
The Apache's primary weapon, the Hellfire missile, is a miniature aircraft in itself, complete with its own guidance computer, steering control and propulsion system. It's powerful enough to burn through the heaviest tank armor in existence.
Okay, this is our 30mm chain gun, and it's one of the weapon systems that we have on board the Apache.
How many rounds can it fire?
It fires approximately about 625 rounds per minute. The gunner is able to slave this to the helmet, and the gun will be able to point in the direction at which the gunner is looking.
Another unique feature lies in this special helmet pilots wear.
This helmet I'm wearing looks like something out of a science fiction movie, but what it's really capable of is more science and no fiction.
Hi Mano,
Hi.
this is our head display unit, or in short HDU, where the pilots or the co-pilots actually gets all the information from flight they required or to engage your weapons. And most importantly, it is able to slave to our helmets, and the guns will be slaved to this, and the guns will be pointing in the direction at which the pilots or co-pilot wish to see and to be able to take out their targets effectively.
The Apache is a formidable opponent to almost everything else on the battlefield. It's a deadly combination of strength, agility and firepower. My wish is to someday fly this bird of prey just like Joyce. But for now, I'll just practice my flying skills with one of these.
The October issue of Pioneer presents 4 groups of people who are not just related by blood but also by their career choices. Meet the 4 families and find out how their military careers brought them closer together. Then follow Pioneer Riser Hong Tat underwater as he tags along on a submarine rescue operation and experience firsthand what such missions involve. Fancy a knight in shining armour? Learn all about sword fighting from a naval officer with a medieval hobby. And to score that perfect date, check out the best rooftop spots in Singapore on your favourite lifestyle page. To celebrate our 41st birthday, Pioneer goes live on the iPad this month. All this and more in the October issue of Pioneer, so get your copy today.
Now, what do you do if you have to refuel your fighter jet but have no time or place to land for a quick top-up? Kyong found out how while he was visiting the RSAF's 112 Squadron.
At a top speed of over 2,000 kilometers per hour, the F-16 Fighting Falcon goes through a lot of fuel in a matter of minutes. Pretty soon, you'll have a very thirsty bird of prey. Where there's no place and when there's no time for the quick top-up, you'll need the KC-135R air-to-air refueling jet tanker, flown by the RSAF's 112 Squadron.
This 42-meter-long fuel tanker with wings carries close to 90,000 kilograms of fuel, enough to fill up 2,400 cars. And above me is the heart and soul of air-to-air refueling.
This 40-foot extendable refueling boom at the back of the KC-135 is operated by First Warrant Officer Bonas to transfer fuel to another aircraft in mid-air. Looking out from a sliding door, Warrant Bonas lies prone on his stomach to maneuver the boom into position. During refueling, the F-16s cruise at over 500 kilometers per hour, fast enough for them to stay in the air, but slow enough to link up safely with the tanker. the refueling boom is lowered and Warren Bonas controls its movement with the boom rudder-vator control handle. He will also operate the light signals to bring the F-16, now known as the receiver, closer into range, and to extend the boom accordingly using the telescopic lever. While all these are happening, he is talking and listening to both the receiver and his own aircraft captain, as well as keeping a watchful eye on the safety bubble between the two aircraft. The KC-135R has another way to offload fuel. Trailing behind the tanker are special drogues used for refueling fighter aircraft such as the F-5 Tigers that are fitted with probes. Regardless of the mode of air-to-air refueling, it is still a tricky and delicate operation.
Two metals don't meet in mid-air. If it ever meets, one is a mid-air collision, the other one is for mid-air refueling. All right. So as it is, the danger is already there, especially when visibility is low, turbulences, air pockets, and all this comes into play. How stable a receiver comes into the position, how stable the tanker is. It all, is a mix of chemistry.
And to ensure that this chemistry doesn't lead to any explosive situation, preparation is key, according to Commanding Officer of 112 Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Zakir.
So we need to ensure that the aircraft is in a stable condition for aerial refueling all the time. We will probably circumvent those conditions or less than ideal conditions for flying, and obviously we can consider altitudes that are different from those that are planned. Either we go higher or we can go lower, we can deviate left or right of track. All those have to be done in good time before we conduct air refueling.
With such refueling capabilities, the RSAF is able to support its fighters in overseas training, deployments and exercises. In the recent exercise Garuda, for example, two RSAF KC-135R tankers provided air-to-air refueling for 6 F-16 fighters and flew close to 11,500 kilometers to exercise with the French and Indian Air Forces on Orange Air Base in southern France. Compared to refueling your car, air-to-air refueling is definitely more than just a simple squeeze of the nozzle. It's a skill that requires surgeon-like precision, nerves of steel, and most important of all, a determination to deliver.
Every time you go up there, the most important thing is fuel must be passed on professionally, safely, and most importantly, timely.
We've operated with quite a few different forms, different types of platforms around the world: heavies, light aircraft, fighter aircraft, transport aircraft, strategic bombers, giving us valuable experience as well to develop the proficiency of our aircrew. And our customers, if you want to call it that, have always been happy.
That's the end of this issue of Defence Watch. If you'd like to have your unit featured on our program or something special to share with our audience, drop us a mail at defencewatch@starnet.gov.sg. For every Singaporean son, a story of the journey of 15 recruits as they go through basic military training, and more videos, you can head to youtube.com/cyberpioneertv. You can also head to mindef.gov.sg for the latest news. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next month.
你的音乐，你的电台，883+FM。